Just had an idea for a video. Recently, I've had conversations with somebody, and I was telling her, listen, I'm looking at your finances, we're talking over your numbers, I'm hearing what you're going through emotionally, and I think it's best that you get a second job. Person didn't really like that. They ended up not wanting to get or go after the opportunity that I tried to give them, which was nothing special, nothing serious. A little gig at my friend's liquor store. But she would have probably made about like an extra $500 every 2 weeks, working probably 3-4 days at like $9 an hour. So little bullshit, ain't really nothing serious job, stocking shelves and cashing people out, right? So nothing crazy. But what that would have done is allowed her to catch up on a couple bills, pay down on a couple of things as well, and then also save. And probably within another less than 6 months, or probably within 6 months, I estimate, she would have been in a better position. And I even worked it out where I said, hey, listen, you could actually be making, say that $9 an hour. You drive a Toyota Corolla, and your round trip in terms of gas going to and from this little night gig is probably going to cost you at most $5. So if you're taking non-toll roads, in Florida we have I-95, which is a non-toll road, but then you have Turnpike, which will get you has less exits, but it's going to get you where you want to a little bit faster, less traffic, less stress in some cases, which is a benefit for somebody like myself. So, I worked it out and I looked at those numbers. I set up the meet. One thing led to another. It just didn't go. It didn't happen. And, now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, with everything that we're hearing about the economy, stuff that the Black Brain Trust has talked about quite a bit, a lot of things that you hear on BGS when he has like Richard Wolff, Richard Martin, and I think Richard Wolff too. I forget. I think Mr. Wolff's name is Richard. His first name is Richard. But and then even I forgot some of the other sources that he has. But you hear a lot of stuff on BGS's channel talking about like the economy going down. You're hearing the things from people around you where the trucking industry maybe not be paying as much, or they are paying, but the jobs are already starting to dry up for a lot of larger companies, things like that. And the point of all this is you need to have an S&S. So that means you need to have a side hustle and savings. If you don't have a side hustle and savings, you're going to be in a very, very bad position. And I can't stress it enough, because people really don't see that as something that they want. Like, they just want one job with benefits and that's it. And it's like, okay, well, that's going to let you work check to check, and you're going to rely on that. And then if that job doesn't give you a raise, then you don't make any extra money. You don't have anything else. You're almost living on almost like on not welfare, but what do they call that, where you have structured living and you don't, your living expense, like whatever you're getting from Social Security, that's all you're getting. You're not getting anything else. But instead of being retired and at home where you can chill, you're getting that type of that feel when you're not while you're working, which kind of sucks. It's like, I don't really have anything extra. And a lot of people are running into this where they don't have extra and they can't do all the things that would come with an increased quality of life. So I had to talk to this person, and I let them know, I was like, listen, you need to be in a better place. I hear you're going through a lot of anguish, and I hear a lot of other people going through it as well. And a lot of it is just because you don't have an S&S. And, a lot of people have said this in many other ways. This is the way I'd like to express it. But have an S&S, a side hustle and savings. If you have a side hustle and savings, even if you run out of your savings, that side hustle can actually make sure that you reinflate that savings. Like you rehydrate that savings, you get that pocket even fatter. Yes, you will lose time to yourself, but that doesn't mean you have to do it on a regular basis. And at some point, you're going to have to look at your side hustle and say, hey, I'm going to have to do something else eventually, and I can't do this for that long. So in my case, I have 2 side hustles, and you can still call it side hustle, but I have my night job where I make decent money there. Like, I make like $23, $24 almost an hour. And then I have my computer consulting where I make $50 to $125, split it between my partners. And of course, that doesn't always come the same way every time. Right now, we're doing a phone server deployment, so that's going to be happening in the next week or so. So it's like, okay, that's good money, and I've actually taken that money and flipped it, or saved, flipped, and taken out a loan. And now I have the salon. So it's like, okay, that salon doesn't make me much money. It doesn't make me any money right now. It costs me in some cases. But at the same time, it's something that I can actually build business equity. And you saw that last video where I talked a little bit about business equity. But you're going to have an SNS, a side hustle, and some savings. If you don't have that going into this economy, going into these next couple years, you could really be assed out. You could really be in a bad position. And I was even talking to a coworker this morning, and he was like, listen, man, you live paycheck to paycheck. Shit can go south real fast. Really, really fast. And you won't even notice it until it's sometimes too late. You're looking back at your expenses, and you're like, yo, what the fuck was I spending this money on? Like, did I need to eat over here? Did I need to buy that? Where can I make more money? Where can I save? And I always say there's 2 ways to make money. Either one, you find places that you can save, or find places where you can cut back and save, or 2, you go out there and find another stream of income, another revenue stream of some sort. And if you're not doing one of those 2 things or both of those things, and doing it constantly, you're really going to be up in a hard place. Like, you're going to be between a rock and a hard place, and you're going to be up in the air in terms of your finances. Like, you don't know when it's going to drop. Like, it's not stable. You're not at a certain level. You're just throwing that shit up in the air, and hopefully it lands on its feet or doesn't land at all, because you don't want your money to come down to zero. Like, however you want to make that analogy. But have an SNS, have a side hustle and savings, instruct other people to have side hustles and savings, instruct people to restructure their own priorities. Make sure that you put yourself in a better position, so that when you're in a bad position, it's still better than most people. I'll end it with that, because that sounded pretty profound. It also didn't. Alrighty, have a nice one.